Accounting is essential for any business, regardless of size or industry. It provides companies with financial information they need to make informed decisions, track their financial and overall progress, and comply with a set of SARS. That's why today we have Tshepo to asicacisele ngayo yonke into ezakwenzeka eyenzekayo kwi-finance, but not general, but only for choirs today. Yes, that's why we have Tshepo Molefe from Tukulong Accounting Practitioners. Tshepo, siyakwamkela buthi.
Ngiyabonga.
Yes. Xa sithetha nge-Tukulong Accounting Practitioners sithetha ngecompany yenza ntoni?
Tukulong, it's Tukulong, meaning freedom, liberty in finance.
Yes.
Particularly. We are an accounting firm.
Yeah.
We celebrated our 20th decade. Second decade last year in October. So we have been in the space for a while, some time.
Yes.
And one of the key factors is that we are doing. It's like to bring financial understanding.
Yes.
Especially to the African people who have got a will to start business, and we were a little bit far from the business as an African people, and to that extent our financials was never been looked at as to where should we start in terms of the legislation, what are the things that should be done and so forth. So our space was to find ourselves in that, to try and balance everything. But above than that, we have a program within the company that we introduce the new graduates into the workspace as they complete their graduations. Then we have a program for 18 to 2 years program where we introduce them to be able to acclimatize and be able to service individual. Those who wants to take the very same road to open a firm, then they can do. Those who are being absorbed by other entities, they're absorbed, and so for some we retain them over a long-term program. In short, that's what we do as Tukulong Accounting Practitioners. We work with different entities, private, NPOs, and all that, and especially we're looking into choirs to say how can we move the choirs especially into NPO so that there can be a good legislative control.
Yes. We also have Mr. Kiewiet Pali. Siyamazi ke Adjudication enkulu everywhere. Esikolweni yamfumana, Saskia yamfumana, competition with big choirs yamfumana. Mr. Pali, how are you, sir?
I'm well, thanks. How are you?
Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I really appreciate it.
Sure. Mr. Molefe, back in the days, we used to win, and after that, we do parties. Our choirs were not registered. There was no one accountable for a low malice. We now to conduct 270, then 270. Comes out South Kumba, say when you cry, like choir was the same. So there was no transparency. So how is it important now to register a choir as a NPO or a business entity?
Yes. It is very crucial and a need too, from different perspective. One, formalizing the whole process. We have got what we call NPC, NPO, and PBO.
Yes.
Now, all that language, it's within the legislation. For example, when you register with CPIC, then it's NPC. Then when you register with social development, then it's called NPO. Then going forth to SARS and then PBO. All that they actually, as we start from the CIPC, the purpose to that is that it falls within the Companies Act.
Okay.
As we have the Act 71 of 2000 that regulates all the companies in terms of how they should operate. In this instance, now the non-profitable organization now it will have a set of rules that it will have to comply with. Now we have Chapter 2, Section 76 and 77. Now it brings what we call fiduciary responsibilities. Now fiduciary responsibilities is what are the basis of the directors that appears in the document from CPIC. What is that they should? What is the behavior they should they behave? And if they are found to be outside of this compliance, they can end up in jail.
Yes.
So those are the process that comes into it. Now, if you go to the NPO, meaning at social development,
yes.
So social development now will use the PFMA to regulate, because that's where now they will fund a particular either a NPO with funding. So, but they require reporting.
Yes.
Do you see that? Now that it's a process that it's required to be looked at. And then lastly, the SARS one. Now, as we know, now you are governed with two legislations,
yes.
which is the Companies Act and the Income Tax Act. Now that choirs are able now to register for with SARS for PBO.
Okay.
Now that it gives donors, right, a relief to say the money that they have contributed to acquire for any specific. For an example, it will be exempted for tax base 10% of their annual turnover. Or the 50,000 base in terms of as a company, or 100,000 for an individual. Now, if you see all this legislation, it's actually now say, let's control things better than in our olden days when we could start just a choir and because of we love music and 1, 2, 3 money comes in, and then we do what we want to do somebody and now we start the fight, we'll go to start another choir. that cycle we never saw any choir growing, but now we see choirs are coming forcefully, so they need to regulate themselves. I guess I answered your question.
Let us acknowledge our partners. We, for the first time since we started this podcast, we got partners to say we will sponsor this show today. That is Burger Mart. They have variety of burgers like Yum Kids Burgers, Yum Cheese Burgers combo, Yum Double Burger combo, and what's more, they have a delicious quarter also for everyday person. You can find them at Randbeck or Midrand 2816 Ivory Park Extension 2 Midrand. They can even cater for your occasions. If you want them, you can call them on 071 2091038. Big up to Burger Mart. We love you guys. Thank you. Then Mr. Molefe, kwikwaya zethu we tend to have committee members ngabantu abacula apha ekhwayeni, then the finance people ngabantu abacula apha ekhwayeni. I don't know if it's an advantage not to have professional people to handle maybe finances zalapha ekhwayeni, or else sibethwa into uba asikhona ubabhatala, yabo. That's why we take two members sithi nina niyathembakala nizawujonga finance.
But remember that as a choir now they have to form an executive committee. Now the executive committee obviously is within the choir.
Yes.
However, any legislation or on the formation of the statute within the choir itself, they can actually rope in people with a certain expertise to be part of that.
Yes.
Now, if you have the executive that you have a 6 or 5 and so forth, you can still co-opt one or two individual within the community with a certain expertise to come and balance off whatever that is actually it's been done. Because one of the key that I advocate is that to say, okay, fine, if we form our board, the strength of our board, it's the success of the choir.
Yes.
So the weaker executive, it will definitely not carry the choir anywhere. Now we need these people to have so much knowledge and also have a diverse voice, strong, diverse voice that could prevent Tshepo to make an individual decision within the choir. So we need that particular trustworthy and so forth. So the existence of external people within the board, it actually strengthened up the committee itself. And then when you approach people like donors or whoever, right, they have a surety that whatever contribution that they're doing, it will actually serve as a funds for the community. Because in my belief is that the choirs are a proponent of the community. So they have to be seen within the community, gelling up with the community and doing whatever that, so the community will have more trust to them, and whatever the contribution or any form that they're doing, then there will be a proper accountability. So then they will appoint, by the way, they will still have to appoint the auditors to audit their books irrespective of. And again, when they appoint the auditors, the independency should remain a proponent to it. That our accounting of whatever that is happening within it is fair. And not to be compromised by any unprofessionalism into it.
Mr. Batu, you can add or ask.
Actually, I like what you asked, because okay, I once conducted a choir at the German International School. So after I formed the choir, I was amazed by the nature of people that I had in the choir. So. For example, I had someone who was actually a pianist, but I discovered that after 6 months, I think, because we used to have this accompanist, the school will pay that person to come. Then that person didn't come to rehearsal one day. Then the guy stood up and he played the piano. Then I said, wow. Then I said, no, Mr. Pali, but you never asked. Do you understand what I'm saying? So what I'm trying to say is that I think, in my opinion, choirs shouldn't rely only on committees, especially with the issue of finances. They can just try to look. There are people out there who are in the choral fraternity who might come and assist with free of charge, just to try to help the choir with the issue of finances, because that thing requires a professional body, who will take the choir to another level. Because if you take someone from the committee who is clueless about finances, I don't think that person will do justice to the growth of the choir. Because the most important thing, we need the choir to grow financially. So the institutions that I've been with, I'm making an example with the German school, because that's where I work now. So when it comes to, like, for example, they have bought every public, private school has got a board, and every private school, not only my school, what they do when it comes to the issue, like to appointment of that portfolio, they go to someone who is a specialist. So you definitely need to produce qualifications. Say, okay, I'm a qualified finance person. Then they will give you that portfolio, because remember, you are dealing with the finances of the institution, and a very big institution. So they can't just take someone, a parent, who is clueless about that. So that parent will bring the school backwards instead of taking for. So even the choirs, I think, that is the approach that we can try to think along. You know.
Last year we had a couple of competitions from Kiewiet, when we say so, until Tirombani in December, and there were monies as a winner. Yabo prizes are corner. We saw. I think the last one, number one was 150 or 100,000. I'm not sure. The Tirombani one. How can you advise Mr. Molefe about how to keep that money safe or to grow that money?
But I think perhaps maybe we can backtrack a little bit, because whatever you mentioned the issue of SGB. I'm doing a number of schools, and I advocate the very same principle to go out of the community. To check people who have got a particular skill that could actually add to this SGB.
Yes.
Because they were appointed within a school community.
Yes.
And the level of insight is limited. But you can go outside if you can opt in somebody with as an advocate or an accountant to come give you a little bit of insight in that. So that is the case. So now coming to the whole concept as within the choral group, and as I indicated, one, we are directed by the vision and the mission.
Yes.
All right. Now in this particular, then you have got objectivity that are sitting there that were not either for many years. They haven't been applied purely because of the financial circumstances. So now the one thing that should direct how the money should be distributed should be your mission and the vision. Right? Now the choirs should come to formulate the budget, for example. And the budget for 2015 should have been formulated sometimes during the last quarter of 2024. Now to say this is the budget, this is the programs, right? Here's the programs. Now how are these programs going to be applied? They will need some funding. And to this effect, now the budget side, we break down these projects, how much it will need. And whatever funds that comes now, we start now to allocate funding to all these programs that are applicable, so that we know that, okay, fine, at least we have 1, 2, 3. This is going to take, we managed to get a position, we got X amount of money. It will reduce our current situation on this. So that is what the funds should be utilized for. It have to be aligned with the vision and the mission of the choral group.
Yes.
So the budgeting, as we normally say, a budget is not a list to buy. No. Right? But budgeting informs the things that you're buying as to how are they going to be funded based on what is applicable. Then you will realize the growth. Because if you don't, then we will ever, this Paul to Harry to Paul kind of money cycling up every year and end up with Mashonisas. Choirs didn't go, some didn't go to BOM, if I remember, because we didn't have funding for transportation. But if the choir has got a strong base of how funds are being utilized and how we distributed, we will not have such a situation.
Yeah, I think I like what you're saying now. And there's another issue again that I would like to also bring forth. Because we were always talking about the committee of the choir. Because I'm thinking, at my church, there is this guy, I can't mention the name of my church now. But at my church, there is this guy, he deals with the finances. After 3 or 4 years, people will come and, elect new members of the church council and everything, you know, that guy is always there, you know. And I joined that church in 2007. Even today, he's still the same guy. So what I'm saying is that that guy, he is very good when it comes to finances. And our church now, I think in South Africa, is one of the best with regards to one of the best in the URCs, you know. I don't know. I'm not talking about other churches. It's one of the best because when you go to other URCs, they will talk about that church, you know, because the finances are well managed there. So what I'm saying is that you need that type of a person to come and be in the choir, and that you cannot vote for such portfolio and say we vote for treasurer, you know, because once you vote for treasurer, after 3 years is another person, you know. So that is going to delay the progress of the choir. You need to have that person, that one person, you know, who has got a vision, who cannot be disturbed, you know. That person should, because remember, once you work with finances, you have a vision. Because I hear every time when I go to meetings, you know, they will project their visions 5 years, 10 years, you know. That's how finance people work. So now if you have this person who's going to be elected this year, and after 2 years then another person, so there won't be any very clear vision. So you need to have that body, that one person who will definitely work for the choir.
Then some choirs are registered as NPOs. Can you define or explain SARS and NPOs? How do they work?
Well, I think I touched a little bit earlier. Perhaps, as I said, we have registration at CPIC, registration at social development, and SARS. Now, if you register at CPIC, the process become a little bit seamless when you go to social development, because you are able to use all the documentation direct from the from CPIC into social development. Now, it's very little documents that they will want you to verify, of course, the issue of constitution and so also the other proponent. And looking again, the other issue is that we should remember also that the board, the directors, that should be part, as we said, a minimum of three board members should be there. Now, they comply to section 661, and now in that it requires that you qualify a person to be a director. This person must have a case, to be found with a case or sequestration, something like that. So all this they are saying to say we must have a person of stature, of a particular stature. Do you get what I'm saying? So as such, as I was saying, now the goodness of the company registering with SARS as a PBO is for exemption, right? Because now if the party wants to contribute some money to the choir, now they should give you a certificate that we call section 18A after he contributed. Now he can take that when he submits his documentation to SARS to say I donated X amount of money to a group, and then this here is what actually they given me. Obviously, to register they have to qualify with certain requirements as well. The choir, not everybody will go there and say I want to register for section 18A, then they are allowed. They will have to outline, because it's a public benefit organization. That's what it means in particular. So hence then they will issue section 18A, and he becomes exempted. So he will feel free. I have got money. Yes, let me give it to them. Then I will deduct this from my taxation when I submit to SARS. Those are good things that you will have as a choir, you know. And I have also explained, if you tell me that you are an NPO, I understand that the the accountability processes
Yes.
are maintained. So I will contribute rather than just coming. No, we are choir. We are singing. Please give us X amount of money, and 1, 2, 3. You guys driving fancy wheels. You see, so this money go to community. Definitely won't have a problem.
I don't. You've been in choirs for so long. Since.
Can't even say.
Since.
Can't even say.
So
I will disclosing my age.
You also an experienced accountant. What a common mistakes that you see maybe ku choirs or ku organization mawuhleli if bano handle so the situation ku finance bangagrand abantu.
Hey, Baba, that's a very good concept, because it's not only with the choirs. As we see, there's a potential business concept that a group have, but you find that they can't grow precisely because of the how things are being managed within the system. So managing, it's a very important factor. And then hence earlier I said, the stronger the board, the more possibility of a choir to grow.
Good.
Right? More potential to grow beyond their measure. They will even surprise the capability they have. Because this will allow, if the choir start to grow, for example, and start to sell themselves to the community, and then grow as an organization, now it will be able for them to say, when they have got some funds, they could raise a stipend for the members of the choir on a monthly basis. Now you have that relationship of ownership within the community and the people that are in. So definitely that's where the growth will come, because the community will buy the concept. Right? Will buy the concept, and this can be an advantage in another way. Because if let's say this notion that if the choirs are now the choir is known within the community itself, now they can introduce a membership, right? They introduce a membership. With membership, contribute to 2,000 rands per in a year, and then I pay the 2,000 as a member. Now, if you have 20 people contributing 2,000, how much do you have in your first year? What is it going to happen? You can have categories of how much will be a membership, even starting from 200 rand or 100 rands, depending on so forth. And then, but when there are certain community activities, you become part of the community, and you drive with them. So there is a social harmony and as well. So it's easy these days to form a group and grow and make big.
Kiewiet.
Yeah, boy.
Last I was thinking, I don't know how important it is to report the finances to the choir. To call the choir, then the finance people come and give us a report.
That thing is very important. I had a church choir. So, but the last time I was there was in 2018. But this is how things worked. It was just a church choir, but I think the manner in which things were handled was quite good, according to me. So our church, like I said, our church is very rich, We've got people. No, that is true. We have a lot of people who have got money there, So, like for example, our church choir, we win up until the final stage of URC, year in, year out, And choristers never paid even a single cent for transport. the church will always make sure that they provide. But this is what happened. Our reverend will stand in front of the congregation and say, okay, our choir has won the first or whatever round, then they're proceeding. So is there anyone who would like to assist? Then someone will just stand up, and say, okay, I will buy them uniform. And we still have a uniform, but we can't say no. Someone will say, no, I will provide water, And someone will say, okay, I will buy food. Then someone will say, okay, I will contribute maybe half of the transport, So the church will just come and contribute less, but most contribution will come from the congregants. So at the end of the year, I think, again, it is the policy of the church, like each and every ministry within the church, they need to account. So towards the end of the year, we'll have a very big annual meeting where we will do finances, from January, from September to September. I don't remember the exact month, but we'll do the annual report, And obviously, we have to you need to report all, even this monies that come from individuals in the church. They are well recorded. You need to say, okay, Mr. Blah 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 contributed this much. This one bought the uniform, and the uniform cost this much. So we were very organized, and it was a church choir. So just imagine if a community choir can have that type of approach.
And also, I was asking myself, but why in soccer? I like to put soccer and choirs. Yeah. Though people, they say, no, it's only 11. It's okay, it's not only 11. There's a lot of people
that is true,
working
yes,
there.
that's true, yeah.
More than 60.
More than 60.
Yeah. I don't remember, maybe Sundowns your team calling players and explain the financial
so we are in the joint team. No, we are together.
Yes. Okay, you were saying
winners.
I don't remember Sundowns calling players and telling them
the finances.
This is our finances. This what is going to what. This what is going to what. I think because also of a professionalism. That is every team in PSL. They don't call players and tell them. Players are only looking at their salaries.
Yeah, but on this one, sorry, I think there's a difference between a choir and a soccer team, because remember, these people are employed. Even where I work, they will never stand there and give a no. They will never do that. No, they will never give us financial support. But remember, a choir, like is saying, if it's an NPO or whatever, remember, definitely there must be accountability. You need to sit down with these people and explain to them, because some of them, remember, they use their own money. Others, they transport choristas after rehearsal every evening. So there's a petrol involved there. Some conductors, they use their own money, to make sure that they transport people as far as Eastern Cape, blah blah blah, for a Gauteng choir. So there's a lot of money that people actually contribute towards the choir. So the choir committee owes those people an explanation at the end of the year.
Yes. Mr. Molefe, we need to grow this money for these choirs. Is it important for a choir maybe to take that 100,000 and invest on some things like property, or I don't know where you can invest?
Look, but it's an important factor, of course. I think there was a choir that won a bus, right? The winners of the last. He won a bus, right?
For which competition?
The Tirumpani.
This one?
Yeah. Isn't it something? I think it announced something like that.
I don't recall. Yeah.
Yeah, but it is an important factor. If they are able, for example, with one of the money like that, and be able to get a bus. That will transport the choir, or it may be available to bring more income.
Yes.
It is an advantage, or whatever that they can able to buy, but to create a source of income continuously. It is also tied up with the vision, as I spoke. Remember, I spoke about the vision and the mission of the choir. So this is one thing that to say, okay, we have a 50,000 friends. Where do we start? Let's go and look at something that I would give you one thing. There was some other gentleman from Kenya. They called me one day. They are starting this. As a stock fell when I was arriving in South Africa yesterday. Now these guys agreed to contribute certain money on a month basis. These guys were about 20. Now those guys have got, all of them now have bought a property for each from the money they were contributing. They are not doing what we do, normally contribute and then December and take the money. Now those people with the money that they had, now they will buy a property and that is your property. And then you start and then you get your people to occupy the property and then it's an income comes to you.
Wow.
That's how they run this program. Now these guys are now going into multi-millionaire. Me and you, we put 100 rands, come year end, we check and go and box it by December. There's nothing. So choirs should adopt a proper strategy that will say we are building a big thing within us. Hence, I said earlier, remember at the beginning, I said we need to professionalize the choral fraternity. And in this, when we formed this choir is not formed for Molefe. Gone are those days, Bob Matthews could say, now I'm starting a choir, I'm using and everything stand on him. But now it becomes a community property. No more for individual. So hence now, whatever that is doing, it's creating a multi-millionaire project for the people within it. So investing into something that will start a proper financial flow, it will be good.
How is it important for choristers to have contracts in their choirs?
Okay, first of all, that's very important because contract means a lot of things, even commitment, Okay, let me make an example. I've got a marimba group. So every January I give them contracts. Yes. So because if someone doesn't have a contract, unfortunately, someone can decide to leave in March or whenever, So at least it is a form of commitment, to know that, okay, at least from January to December, I will have the service of this person. So they are committed, So, but if there is no contract, someone can just leave, whenever they want, And I'm not saying people should be slaves of contracts, but at least there must be that type of agreement, so that as a contractor you plan, you know that I've got 60 people who are committed, who signed contracts, So I'm going to have these people for the rest of the year. Even if there are you don't pay them, but that what you call commitment is very important. So contract, I think everywhere, even people who are not getting paid, is very important for them to sign contracts of commitment.
This issue of money, let's leave it now. Your last word to the to those.
But before his last words, I know he's a specialist here. But I'm thinking of something. I was listening to my colleague 2 days ago. He was telling me about. I can't quote what he said exactly, but what he was telling me is that there's a school here in Pretoria. I can't mention the name. It's a public school, but the standard of that school is equivalent to that of a private school, because people who studied there in that school, they formed a group, like they have this alumni group, So for every student who exits, then the student becomes part of that alumni group. And now most of them, they work overseas, they are earning money in dollars, So what they do, they contribute to the school. Yes, so they call themselves friends of the ex-school, you know. So they contribute a lot of money because they are getting, even those who are in South Africa, you know, they feel that, you know what, this is our school, we are where we are because of this. So I'm coming to the choirs, you know. In our choral choir, to be honest, choral choirs, most people in choral choirs, I'm telling you, there are people who have got very good jobs.
Exactly.
You know, there are, like, we have got very, very, very good jobs, but they are afraid to just contribute, you know, to the choir. So if we can have something like that, let's say 30 people are working in the choir. What we can do is say, okay, 30 people, we've got stock files. People do stock files all over. Take the stock file to your choir and say, let's start the stock file. Then we do. Then at the end of the year, they get their money. Then all the interest remain with the choir. Something like that, you know. He might know this better than me, but I think because I once joined the Stokvel and the interest was quite a lot of money, you know. So if we do the Stokvel of 500 rand, I make an example, at the end of the year I get, for example, my 6,000, you know, this is what I've contributed. But all this interest, you know, depending on how many we are, then it remains the property of the choir. Yeah. So we need to think of ways of making money. Like,
Mr. Molefe, any advice to the provincial organizations?
But you know, it's such a good aspect, and as I said, if we have a proper stakeholders with allegiance and knowing everything that is happening within, then they have got. We create trust. We create ownership. You know, now once that it's created, then it makes people being willing to contribute in any way. Some might feel, look, I definitely don't need that 6,000 that I've contributed in the 12 months.
Exactly.
Let it be becomes the coffers of the choir, because we love the choir. For an example, I'm a staunch of these 3 Gauteng choirs. I mean, you have Von, you have Kopano, you are the JC. So I'm if they come to me to say that we have got this project and we want to do 1, 2, 3, definitely I will be say to you, okay, fine, let me see what I can do for you and assist where I can do. So that's how it can change the situation of the choral side to be more sustainable, people taking them serious, even the community being willing to contribute financially, knowing that the finances are in good hands. And then as you were saying, they are getting, at the end of the year, we distribute the financial reports to all our stakeholders, so they are able to see how much was actually received over the year within the choir, and then what was the money used for within the choir. Now, as we see that, then we start to be more subtle as how is the money being used. It's not being paid to an individual. Remember the word NPO. The money cannot be distributed to an individual. No individual is allowed to receive money as his for his own purpose.
Nice.
Okay. We introduced to you Waterza. This is James. This is our second partner.
Oh, nice.
For this January.
Good. Okay.
I think 2025 is coming right.
Yeah. Good.
We introduced to you Waterza, and Waterza is clean and refined water that you can find at Licheng Mall, Eval. Yes.
Which mall again?
Licheng Mall.
Okay.
I think it's a new mall. Yeah, it's a new mall. You can find them. Their services include bulk branded water, customized water for different occasions. water refills, water purification service. They have water bottles in different sizes.
Nice.
Yes, if you have a phone, you can contact them on 083 466 6666. 083 466 6666. Mr. Bud. You know, supporters, they always say, "Yo, guys." It was supposed to be this school, that one, not that one. Why you? Yeah. There's always, but always the complaining side is the one on a winang.
That's true.
Yeah, it's the one who's complaining. That's setting adjudication,
my brother, adjudication is something that is very difficult, because first of all, music was never meant for competitions.
Yes.
So it's a pity that we have platforms where choirs need to be adjudicated in a competition, Yeah, but what makes me laugh is that as an adjudicator, unfortunately, let's say I'm an educator, you're a pianist. So most people will love this one and hate me. I think for obvious reasons. Because if we have 20 choirs competing in standard, only position 1, 2, 3, maybe not that they will like you, they will be happy with the fact that they won, but all others will just not dislike you. And I don't want to say hate, but they will dislike you. And another thing that I've realized as I was growing as an adjudicator is that most conductors are not truthful to their choristers. Remember, a conductor is a maestro, and a maestro means a master. So you can imagine the level of command that the person has to the choir. It's the same like a pastor. You go to different churches, whatever that the pastor says goes. So the same like in choirs, what most of the choirs, what the conductor says goes. So after completing the choir, the conductor will come back, and instead of doing a what you call trying to do a reflection, introspection, yes, rather. So they will blame adjudicators. So that is the sad reality, So I remember before I became an educator, I was a chorister. So obviously I know exactly what I'm talking about, because I was a chorister for 10 years. But and there is this guy called Tshepo from Durban, I will never forget him. He was my first conductor in Kwakwa. He conducted Kwakwa Sings. Do you know that guy? He taught me something that I'll never forget. Every time when the choir comes and we didn't win, he will say, never ever in your life blame an adjudicator. It is our fault. So sometimes we feel that, no, but we are robbed. You say, no. And he will ask you a simple question. Did you hear all choirs? The answer is no. Then how do you come to a conclusion that you are robbed, So this is what is happening even today, because I ask a lot of people questions, but obviously after competition they'll say, no, but Mr. Badi, I feel then the first question will be, did you hear all the choirs? The answer will be no, because obviously you have to be backstage, as a chorister, you can't be in the venue. So for the fact that you didn't hear all other choirs, so how do you say you were robbed? And the answer will be the audience. And now again, let me tell you something. The audience will tell you what you want to hear. Because the audience can come to you and say, if you don't win this competition, these judges don't know what they're doing. And they will come and say the same thing to you, the same thing to that person. So you can't trust the audience, And another sad part, and this one I don't like it, we are not honest. Especially in South Africa, So I work for the German school now, and I'm telling you, there is something I've learned from the Germans. Those guys will never lie to you. I was at the stadium with my wife last week, and this German guy, this German guy said to lady behind, your lipstick is all over the place. Then I said, you good. Then on Monday I asked him, hey man, why did you say that? He said, okay, Did you, was I lying? I said, no, you're not. So he said, so you wanted me to lie? Then I kept quiet. So, but from that, I learned that, you know, I think in South Africa, we lack honesty, you know. We are not honest enough to tell our brothers and sisters if they didn't do well. So we always want to come to them and say, no, you know what, you did well. And we give them false hope. And when the results come, then it's something different, and people start to hate educators now because the feedback that they received from the audience is different from what they received from the educators.
You know, my crisis staging. What exactly are you looking for?
Yeah, okay. Before I answer that, let me take you back. You know, I was educated at Satika.
Yeah.
I think this will answer your question.
Yes.
So I'm gonna mention this conductor's name because we laughed about it afterwards. Vobilo Nomanyam. Yeah. I think we all know he's one of the greatest conductors. You know? So Satika. First of all, it's a very good competition. You know, they promote music in our tertiary level. You know, so I don't remember. I think the competition was in the Eastern Cape. Then he was doing a Baroque piece. So he came on stage. You know, he decorated the piece. You know. There was some tempo rubato somewhere there. You know, then I remember I was working with very good educators, you know, who were very knowledgeable, and I was very young then, you know. I was still very, very young. So then we all decided that this choir can't even make it to top 3. And guess what? The problem is that he got standing ovation after his performance. Standing ovation. Then now, this person is not in top 3. So, now, you know, you start to be worried. So, yo, what's going to happen here? Now, the reason why he was not in top 3, he was doing a Baroque piece, but he used more of a romantic approach. So stylistically, he was out, you know. And obviously, we all know, but there's a huge difference between Baroque and romantic because even after Baroque, we still have classical, something in between. So this one, he didn't even use the classical, he used the romantic approach, you know. So which was like he was completely out. And there were choirs which were quite good, but not as good as him, but the difference was very small. So hence, we couldn't even risk and say, okay, let's put him, because there were other which were quite good, and they were very relevant with regard to style, because they did that Baroque very, very well. You know? So it was because of those reasons that he was not even in top 3. So after the results, he came to us, you know, he came to me there. He was laughing, and he said to me, you know, Mr. Buddy, if I won this competition, I was going to doubt you. And remember, I was still a judge at NCF there, you know. So, and remember, after Satiga, I need to meet him at NCF. So obviously, if I let him win there, so it means he was not going to trust me when he sees me on the NCF table. He'll say, no, but this guy doesn't know what he's doing, you see. So, but now, the audience was very angry. That no, but this guy not even pushing 3. No, what is that? These judges don't know what they're doing, you see. But the conductor knows, because we spoke and we were both laughing, you know. Yes, that's why even today I respect that gentleman. I respect him a lot, because he knows what he's doing. And he said to me, Mr. Buddy, we are just playing here, you know. So that's what he said, you know. So I don't know if I've answered your question. So what we are looking for, first of all, you need to know what you're singing. Let me talk about the Western piece first. Okay. If you sing a Western song, number one, you need to check what period does the song come from. Is this a classical period? Is this a romantic period? Is this a Baroque? So that is what you need to do. And after that, you need to look at the characteristics of that particular period, because these periods are different, they differ. So once you understand the characteristics, then you look at the composer. Who's the composer? Okay, let's say this is Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. Now, Mozart, okay, within classical period, Mozart has got his own style, which is different from the Beethoven. I'm making examples. So now you need to check whose composer is this. This is Mozart. Okay, now this is how I am going to treat Mozart, because Mozart has got these feminine endings, you know, something that other classical composers do not have. So now that you understand the period, you also need to understand the composer. Number 3, try to understand the song that they're singing. So most of the songs are in Italian, German, blah blah.
Yes.
So there is no way that you can sing a song, and if I ask you even about the title, what is the title of the song? You don't know. But you say, I was robbed, or we were robbed. Because sometimes I can ask you about a line. Okay, tell me from bar 67 to bar 80, there is this line. What does it say? Like, can you do it in English? Someone can do it. But then I ask myself, first of all, how do you sing something that I don't like? It's impossible. There is no way that you can sing something that you don't understand. Because there is something called interpretation.
Yeah.
Now, interpretation means you need to interpret the song. So as a reverend or a pastor, once you stand in front of your congregation, remember you need to interpret the Bible. Meaning there is no way you can even utter one word that you don't know what it means. So every word that you're going to say, there is something that you know. So the same like singing, you need to know each and every word what it means. Then that is going to speak to the facial expression.
Yes.
Because like we see a lot of people, they will sing a happy song, but their faces are
sad
they are very sad faces. So now it comes to the issue of interpretation. It means from the interpretation part already the marks go down. Now another thing again, we also listen to the tone quality. So this one is very complex, but I will try to
Yeah.
Let me talk about Regina Chale, for example.
Yes.
Regina Chale, you need to know what type of sound you must use there, because there is a reduction of vibrato there. You can't sing that song with full vibrato, because you need to understand the style. So if you don't understand that, then you're going to come and sing it, with full vibrato, then statistically you're out. The tone quality is not appropriate to the prescribed literature. So that is something that we will look at. So, and another thing again, I think Mr. Sidel Mhlongo once spoke about this. He's one of the intelligent conductors. I think we all know that. He once said something on Facebook, and it's just that I didn't want to comment, but like it was a very good comment, because I think he was talking about the choral sound in South Africa, because we don't even know the difference between choral, opera, so we just use same sound, if you remember this choir Bukamos, they won the World Choir Games. And if you listen to the recordings, how they were singing, I think you'll become aware that not everything is about.
I saw that, Mr. Pali. UCT.
Yes.
On those World Choir Games.
Yes. And
they won, and they changed total the sound. Then I was asking myself, maybe this sound we are singing is not recognized in the world. What is happening?
No, not that it's not recognized. Remember,
the style.
This is what we do. Okay, now I'm speaking as a vocal specialist now, because I'm also a vocal specialist. I trained singers, and I saw you interviewed one of my students last time here, Mkulile Kumasuku.
Oh, yes.
Yes. I trained that gentleman. I also trained Cecilia Rangwanasha, who is making waves around the world. So now, okay. That's what happens when you sing. That's what I'm saying. You need to know what you're singing, so that you know the type of tone that you have to use. So most of us in South Africa, I think we use more of the operatic sound, because now this is what is happening. We've got. Let me talk about pop and opera. The difference between pop and opera is the position of the larynx. Now, if the larynx go up, then it reduces the resonance. So the sound becomes white. There's something that they call white sound. Not white because of color. Yes, it's white. So a sound without resonance is called a white sound. Yes. So that's why most pop singers, they use mics, because there is sometimes no resonance or little resonance. But once you drop the larynx, now it increases resonance. And now another thing again, we've got head voice and chest voice, and the larynx becomes the primary resonator. So hence I'm saying, if you lift it, then it reduces the resonance, but once you drop it, then it increases the resonance. Why? Because you engage what you call chest voice. It's like I get hey. You can hear how strong this is.
Yeah.
But hey. This is a head voice. Hey. But hey. So chest voice is quite strong, you know. So this is what most black people we've got a very strong chest voice. That's why even when we train our students here, we know that they've got very strong chest voice. So what we're trying to do is to try to have something called voce completa. Voce completa is a complete voice. So it means the resonance, we've got a balanced resonance. So you must try to balance chest and head. So in that way, so at least there is that what you call a balance. But if you don't balance that, then you'll hear that people have got a very strong chest voice. Now, listen to people when they sing the Eastern Cape songs, you know. Composers write those songs to lie more on the chest area. So obviously, automatically, the resonance that works for those compositions is the chest.
Yes.
You cannot implement it because the range or where the songs are written is more on the chest. That's why they say, yeah, this one, it sounds African, you know. It sounds African because this is how it is written. And those composers are extremely intelligent because they knew their audience, they knew their people. This is how our people speak. This is how our music should be. Listen to the Western music. Most songs are
head tone.
Exactly. And that's how they speak most of the time, you know, because that's how they speak. So they write music based on their speech.
Their voices are like
their voices. So when we sing Western pieces, that's why most of the time we'll encourage people to say, no, the sound is too dark for this piece, because it was written in such a way that it needs to, we need to hear more of the head voice. We need that brightness. African songs, do you understand what I'm saying? So those are complications that we come across as educators, because remember, we study the music very well, we understand the style, we understand composers, and we know exactly what is expected. Even before we sit on the table, we know exactly what is expected, you know. Yeah.
Mr. Molefe?
That's a good insightful, and I carry that, especially the chest voice and the voice.
And that's what we don't look at. We just look at the tone of the choir. These guys were good. Why they are not in top three? We don't know what are they looking for.
Also, the vocal of the entire audience now lacks the choir. For example, the gentleman from Botswana was the guy. He's part of the
Menzi.
No. Kaupelo, Yes. He's part of the it's Kaupelo. Yes, he's part of the Bukamoso.
Yes.
When the Botswana choir ended up, the entire arena stood up.
Yes.
I like how the actual adjudication came up with results to that. Highest standard auditing. No, that was very great. And then I like to say, because I'm coming from the auditing side, professionalism becomes the game.
Yes.
And whatever that we do, we know the effort that individuals have put, and not to compromise the effort that have been put by the people to bring it before. And I think somebody put it very nicely there to say that there is a lot that is brought into making a decision as to what has been put on as to just the singing.
Prakrit, there's something that interested me, language. Your facial expression, maybe it's a happy song or sad song. You remember there was a song that was performed in 2000, I don't know, but that song was sung by girls choir at Saske. Mama song. The Free State choir, those girls, after when they were about to finish the song, they almost all of them cried. And then they Utatu Nimkotli Waisenze remarks. He went to the stage and said, "No, you can't cry on this song. This is a happy song. You ubulelu mama up, you're saying thanks to mama. Yeah, but you can't cry." But that, there's different emotions mawubulela umama. I can cry manbulela umama ndicinga izinto anenzele zona. Someone ngaba happy.
Yeah, hey brother. That's quite yeah. Yes. No, I think this one, it needs wisdom, you know. Yes, because every time when I conduct workshops, I always say, okay, we can discuss the song, but I never discuss interpretation.
Yeah,
that one I don't do. We can discuss the song styles and everything, you know, but that one, conductors must come and actually interpret the song for us. Like you are saying, I fortunately I did acting, you know. When I did my BTech activity, you know, one of my modules was acting, so I did acting for 3 years, and that's why, okay, even you know opera is acting, you know?
Yes.
So that's why we understand emotions, because if I come to you and say your father passed away, and I come to do the same thing, the reactions
not the same, yeah,
cannot be the same, you know. So every time as an educator, I think we need to be open-minded to that extent, that let's just look at what they bring to us, you know, and we assess it based on that, you know. Especially when we do remarks, you know. Remarks are very dangerous, because remember, you are like most people are listening to what you are saying, so we try by all means to make remarks as general as possible, because once you speak about an individual, because remember, these are called general remarks. So you need to generalize. So if there's a choir that cried on stage, you can't even mention that at all, exactly. Because everyone in the hall will know what choir is that, and they will assume the outcomes already. So
because of that.
Exactly. So I don't want to say what happened there, but I think we learn from such things. Yeah, and things like that must not happen. We must always do general remarks, so that we are not being attacked after competition. You said this about my choir. Yes.
Kiewiet,
and actually, sorry, I still want to talk more about what you look at in the choir. I just say a few things again, because I only spoke about 2 things, and I think this is a correct platform for me to actually explain that, so that in future people don't come and attack us anymore, you know. So we also there is something called balance and blending in a choir. And now, what I hear every time when I go, because I do training, remember I'm a vocal specialist, so I do a lot of training. Now I always ask, what is the difference between balance and blending? Most people can't answer that question, and as educators, again, we always write about balance and blending, but we don't actually use that podium to explain such things, because I think when we do general remarks, this is the platform where we need to articulate on things, because we talk about it every year in and out, but people don't understand. So we need to utilize this. That's why I want to utilize this space now to actually talk about balance and blending.
Yes.
Now, the difference between balance and blending is that blending, you cannot blend the voices until certain aspects are blended. Number 1, vowels.
Yes.
If I say to you, so these are different R's.
Yes.
So it means the choir will never blend if we are not addressed the formation of the vowel R. And we only have 5 vowels. So we can work on these different 5 vowels and say, okay, this is how we sing these 5 vowels. And once your choir can be able to sing all these 5 vowels in a unified manner. So this is a great contribution to blending. Another thing, if you say noka, another one say noka. I'll make an example, noka. So these are 2 different things. So it means we also need to address such issues of pronunciation, issues of enunciation. So we need to blend that. So if all these things are well blended, are well addressed and are unified, then the choir will naturally blend. Then balance. When we talk about balance, now we're talking about, for example, let me talk about soprano only. In a soprano, we've got different voice types. We can have coloratura, soubrette, spinto, dramatic soprano. You know, now, if we are a soprano and we are 15, and we are singing. So this is a dramatic soprano. Someone in between is a soubrette, or they've got this what you call coloratura voice. This person will feel that no, I am not good enough, because now remember these two people have got very big voices. So this one's voice is quite small, and this person will start to doubt themselves and say, I don't think I'm good enough. But as a conductor, what you need to do is to sit down and listen to all your sopranos individually and try to listen to them. You don't have to go to school to know ranges, but you can hear that these three, they sound the same. Then you put them together. Then you can start with your coloraturas down up until the subwoofers. I call them subwoofers, the dramatic sopranos. So if you can actually pair them according to their voices, there won't be any competition. So people will just sing based on their capabilities. And now, if you want a darker sound, you know you're gonna find it where from the exactly. If you want a lighter, you're gonna use this ones more. So that's how it must. So they need to complement each other. They mustn't actually compete, because once they compete against each other, this is where the imbalance comes. So the choir will never have balance. So whatever that you do in soprano, you do it in tenor, and your baritones and basses. There's no way that a bass can stand next to a baritone. It doesn't make sense. Do you understand? So you just need to find a way to pair them according to their strength, according to their. And that is going to help you even with the color, because tone quality has got something that we call color. Yes. Each and every song requires. That's why I'm saying education is complex. Every song, it needs a certain color. So if your song, you are doing an African song, you're going to rely more on these ones, and you will encourage these ones to try to use the lighter, because you do have these lighter voices. Do you understand? And when you sing a song that requires more of a darker, you've got your people, then you just say this one. No. Do you understand what I'm saying? So it becomes much easier, and every person feels important in the choir. So that is also part of the things that you look at when you adjudicate.
I've seen this. You'll find that whether it's a quartet or in a duet form, and then you will now identify to that. But the choir master here was not clever enough to be able to blend
to
up
listen to
his
the voices,
to fit into a quartet or a duet style, or even to be a solo.
And thanks about that. So let me address the quartet very briefly. When you have a quartet, first of all, you need to consider size, weight, and color of the voice. Size, weight, and color. So that's a quartet. So you can't have a quartet of someone with a very lyric soprano and have a heavy tenor. Definitely you're going to have a problem, because the color won't be the same. And if the color cannot be the same, then you're going to have problem with the blending. So this quartet cannot blend. Then you have, so if you go lighter, go lighter. If you go dark, go dark, and again, it depends on the tessitura, the range of the song, but you need to be very clever enough to try to look at the matters of, the issues of size, color, and weight of the voices.
So Kiewiet, do you prepare for a competition? Maybe in 6 months they give you music and say uzabe adjudicator, they come maybe next week say for a competition.
No, next week doesn't work. no, it doesn't work. So but unfortunately there are adjudicators who accept work even the way they say tomorrow, so tomorrow no. So okay, at my level now, I am at a stage where I always tell her, and she always laughs, and I say, I'm going to work. For example, say I'm working in Swaziland, or I'm working in Botswana. So from the list is only 2 songs that I'm going to learn, which I knew. Then she'll say, okay, how many songs? I'll say the songs are 15. So it means, because to be honest, I've been working a lot. Like I worked in lots of competitions. So I don't remember a competition where I learned the entire repertoire from the scratch. And every like I have a library of my songs, on my system. So I just type the name, the GPS, that my notes are there. So but obviously I would like to challenge myself and say, okay, but these notes are from 10 years ago. Let me try to interrogate this. But a good thing is that I don't start from the beginning, you know, even the song, I know the song, you know. So, but definitely, it doesn't matter how well you know the music. You must prepare for the music. You must prepare for the competition, you know, definitely, so that when you get to the table, you know exactly what you are going to do. Because what is important, you might not prepare, but you are going to work with people.
Yes.
And now, the same people that you are working with, you want them to respect you in future. So, and unfortunately, I don't know how to put this, but most people that I work with, they always have high expectations. Because they say no. Because, for example, I worked at NCF at the I think it was Msiza and myself, which we were the youngest at the NCF, you know. So because of such things, people assume that these people have got, you know, a lot of experience, you know, only to find that we are still learning, because even today I'm still learning, you know. But wherever I go, I know there's a reputation that I need to maintain. Because I might work with someone who has never been at NCF level. So that person is going to prepare and say, okay, I'm going to work with Mr. Padi, so let me prepare. So if I'm not prepared, that person will go and talk about me, you know, someone say, hey, you guys has been saying things like that guy is very incompetent, you know. So that doesn't actually is going to work against me in future, you know. So we need to prepare every time.
Because you are a voice trainer, then I call you for my choir, then next week you'll be sitting at the table.
That one, let me explain that one. Hey, that one is dangerous, you know. So last year I educated at the Roman Catholic Church final, you know. My wife, she, so I can't lie in front of her. So there is this conductor who asked for my services, you know.
Yeah, it's coming.
So I said to him, because you know, I said to him, you know what, I did a workshop for your competition. So they haven't said anything about my appointment at final. But they did say to me verbally that I will be working there, you know. I said to him, let's wait. If I don't work there, I will come just a week before and I will train your choir. Then fortunately they called me, so then I went there. So I refused to go there. But now let me talk about this while we are on this topic. Now there is this program called SASKE.
Yes.
So I want to be very honest there. This is what happens at SASKE. They remember this development stage. So most teachers are not they are not trained to take their quarter. So what they do, they come to us for assistance. So let me say a choir from Northwest will call me. I'm making an example. In April, I will go, because if I don't go, remember at national they only make appointments 2 weeks prior to the finals. Yes. So there is no way that you can decline offer in April and say no, I'm gonna be called at national. Then they don't call you. And 5 or 6 choirs, maybe you decline them. And remember, you are not even sure that these choirs will proceed to the national. You might help them up until maybe they, you know. Provincial. So what happens in a situation like this? Because we are adjudicators and we are also professionals at other disciplines such as vocal training. Others are conductors, you know. So if you get called, you go and train. Then if by any chance it happens that the choir that you train, you see them, what you need to do is to disclose. Yeah, so the honest thing that you must do is to disclose and say, I worked with choir A. And you will be very specific. I worked them maybe at the cluster level or whatever, but at least for the fact that there was a payment, because remember they paid you for that service. You didn't just go there to volunteer. So because there was a payment, you need to disclose. And if you don't disclose, then it means you are not honest. And the biggest problem that we have in South Africa, again, you know, as judges, we are afraid to disclose because we think that if we disclose,
they won't give you a job.
No, they will still give you a job. We disclose every time. We always go there and we disclose. And once you disclose, there is a quality assurer. Then quality assurer will make sure that they don't include you in the songs sung by
or by the school.
Let's say I trained the school in the senior B Western. I'm making an example. Then the quality assurer won't place me there. They'll say, okay, Mr. Pali, because do you understand what I'm saying? So the purpose of disclosing is for to help even your colleagues, to just work, without knowing that, and again, what people don't understand, once you work with a choir, it's difficult to even mark it. I'm telling you, even if the choir can do well, you can't even put a mark to say they won, because you like, I'm telling you, it's a very awkward moment, you can't even give them a win, so that's why it's always good that don't even do it, don't work, just sit there. Do you understand? Just sit there and let your colleagues deal with
the work.
Yes, because if we say we mustn't train them, then who's going to train them? That's the problem. Yes.
No, there was the issue that there were 7 judges at Tirumpani, but 2 withdrawn.
Okay. Yes.
Do you remember that? Was it a case of being involved in during the process?
I'm not sure with that. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Yes. So I don't know.
Okay.
Yes.
Then another thing, there's this upcoming Saske.
Yes.
There is Champ of Champs.
Yes.
Your take on that one?
Okay. Honestly speaking, I worked until December last year, so it was a very busy season for me.
Yeah.
So I decided to dedicate my time to my family. So I did hear about it, and unfortunately I don't have details of it.
Okay.
Because I also I prefer talking about things that I have seen, especially which are written down, So if I can receive something like that and read, then that's when maybe I can comment. Because at this level, remember, I do work at Saske National, so whatever that I say, obviously people will take it very seriously. So I must be informed, about something before I talk about it. But for now, I've got very little knowledge about that. I saw it on Facebook, but I've never seen a formal document about it. Yes.
You mentioned quality assurer. There's adjudicator.
Yes.
There's quality assurer.
Yes.
What is quality assurer doing?
Okay. Let me also take this moment again, I think, to clarify this. Now, we've got, before you become a quality assurer, you are an adjudicator first.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So, for example, I would like to comment, Saske National, they are very professional,
Very.
They are extremely professional and they know what they are doing. So last year, every year we go for a briefing. And before Adjudication, we go for briefing, and it's a very intensive briefing.
Yeah,
we do songs A to Z, like very intense, So and we get paid for that, which is good, because they understand that we are professionals, and we dedicate our time. So we are taking it very serious because we know that they're also taking us very seriously, So what happens is this: they appoint you when you get there that so and so will be quality assurers. So that's why I'm saying to you, you are an adjudicator first. Before you become the quality assurers.
So they appoint on those workshops?
No, at national, but at the lower levels, they do tell you that, we appoint you as a quality assurer or we appoint you as an adjudicator. But the point I was trying to say is that as a quality assurer, you are not above adjudicators. You are an adjudicator. It's just that you were lucky enough that day or that competition, you were appointed as a quality assurer. Now here's the difference. Quality assurer, remember we've got, we sometimes have 2 panels or 3, but I think 3 is only at national or maybe other provinces, but mainly we've got 2 panels. It's 3 adjudicators. So they use this individual system. So this system, it does some eliminations. For example, 3 adjudicators will adjudicate the Western song, then 3 will do the African song.
Yes.
So now amongst these 3 adjudicators, if one adjudicator's marks are 7 higher than others, then the system will eliminate this mark and will only be left with 2. I think it's fair because it's very fair according to me, but only if educators are fair, So it means this educator liked the choir more than others, because for example, if in education we've got 50 to 59 is fair, 60 to 69 is good.
Yes.
70 to 79, very good. 80 to 89, excellent. Then outstanding.
90. Yeah.
Now, there are criteria under those marks. 60, to qualify for quite to be good, there are guidelines. And those guidelines are, we have a rubric. And it's very detailed, So you just look at the rubric and say, okay, this is why. Then it guides you. So if we both of us are saying 65, 68, it means we are saying this choir falls under good. Okay. And you come and give that choir 8. You are saying the choir is excellent. And now you see, and you're the only one. So that's why the system will kick you out. Because the system feels that, no, but this one, we are not listening to the same performance here. And it also does that if someone is very low. If we give maybe 70, 75, then someone comes and gives 50. And it happens. Then obviously the 50 will be eliminated because that's ridiculously low, So the system will take that off and only 2 marks will be remain. So this is what the quality assurer checks, all those type of things, Yeah. And another thing again, this one is very critical. Now, you'll find that there are 3 judges.
Yes.
I don't know what happens. I'm not good in mathematics, but there's a situation where we have 3 position ones. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. 3 position ones, in that category.
Yes.
So now, as a quality assurer, you come and we can't have 3 position ones.
Yes.
Then we sit down and say, okay, we need to debate, So this is where you come in, then we debate. And remember, as a quality assurer, you also give marks. But your marks are not official. So, but that helps you with what is happening, this side and this side.
Must know number 1 by 3.
Yes, so it means as a quality assurer, you must also know your music. You can't just sit there and do mess. No, and as a quality assurer, you even work more than the judges because you need to record their things. And at the same time, when the choir starts, that's why you can't go outside. You will never. Judges can go. Panel A can go out when panel B is working. They can go out, but you can go out because you have to listen to every performance so that when there is an issue, you are able to also contribute, and because definitely you have to be involved. So that's a quality assurance. So you need to sit them down and let them debate on their own first, So you can only intervene if you hear that, I think this is now delaying, because at the end of the day, remember, it's time again. And people mustn't start to panic. Do you understand? So so you need to control all such things. And again, you also need to, as a quality assurer, you're also responsible for the entire competition, even the what you call program directors. You need to listen to how they call choirs. Sometimes you need to have a meeting with them in the morning, and if there are difficult things, in a very polite manner, just help them to pronounce some title of their songs, because remember, people will be laughing in the hall for the entire section when someone's saying Veren holders instead of Veren holders. You know what I'm saying? Because remember, these kids understand, and they will be laughing at the program. And once they laugh, then that disturbs the proceeding. So as a quality assurer, you need to make sure that they know what they're talking about, And you must also listen. If they say there's a certain hype from MCs, when certain choirs come, you need to go and address such issues. Say, no, what you're doing is not right, because all choirs must feel that they are equal. They're the same, Yes, they're the same. Even if the choir won the competition previous year, you cannot just change the vibe now and
now excited
and want to actually pull the crowd to support this choir, because the MCs can do that, So those are things that you need to check. So there must be a balance, You must also go and talk to the recorders. Because as a quality assurer, again, this is a very difficult thing. Remember, you need to have your laptop and you need to record marks and do those eliminations on your laptop and keep your record with you. Then you take the score sheets to the recorder's table.
Yes.
When they go to the recorder's table, it's for verification. So whatever that they do, they must come back to you, and you do what? You compare what you have with what they have. And if there is any discrepancy, then the original score sheets must be brought so that we see where the discrepancy is. Because sometimes they might have entered something wrong, you might have entered something wrong. So that's why there must be a good what do you call cooperation between these 2 tables, And just to say, because I have to say this, it happened a lot. So there are recorders who are not honest. Remember, recorders, they from different districts,
Yes,
or
yes.
different provinces at
Provinces,
national.
yeah,
I'm just,
yeah.
you know, okay, I'm not talking about national, you know, I'm talking about lower levels. So you'll find that they are from different districts. So obviously they have their choirs. So someone will just test you and just change the marks, you know, and see if you are, you know, and if you are sleeping, hey, no, they will definitely. They've tried that so many times, and every time you go back there, you say, no, sorry, it's a mistake, you know. I remember there's a time where the whole results were changed after verification. So I want to advise other quality assurers. This one is very important. Even after verification, before the announcement of the results, you do another verification alone. Because remember, after verification, you take the same sheets to them to type in the positions now. Even that, you must never take it from that table and announce. You sit down again, you open your laptop, you do the last verification. So most of the time, I do sometimes find mistakes even there. And those ones, obviously, I don't address them politely, because I know that those are not mistakes. Because remember, mistake can happen first time, but after that, it's no longer a mistake. So I address it very brutally, because this is going to compromise our integrity, not me only, even the adjudicators, you know. So we check that, you know. So that's why the role of a quality assurer is very, very important, and it needs someone who is focused. You can't go there if you've got problems, you know. Yeah.
So how many marks are you giving Fraser for pulling the crowd?
Hey, man, as an educator, you must never ever be deceived by the crowd, you know? Like never ever. No. Because I know some judges get intimidated, you know, when they hear the noise. You know, okay, personally, what helped me, I worked at Eastern Cape, NCF. You know, I respect that province with all my heart, you know. Eastern Cape, like the audience. We were in I don't remember the name of the place, but I think it was a theater.
Orient Theater next to the sea beach.
You know, okay, they first of all, they buy tickets. They fill up the venue. They don't play. Now, because they bought tickets, remember, we sit in between there, you know. So normally there will be two lines in front of us, you know, open two lines and open two lines behind us, you know, so that we can work freely and we can, you know. But there, man, it's only two chairs, then the audience, you know, just behind you, or only maybe one. If so, man, like you can even hear them, and they will intimidate you. You know, I remember there's a choir that ascended this. I think it was Doomsa's choir. You know, Zolicha. You man, you. They love that choir. Others were saying, if this one doesn't win, these judges don't know music. So that's, you know, like they will intimidate you. And they're singing, man. You know. So if you don't know your story, I'm telling you, you're gonna be you know, intimidated, and you might award based on the audience, you know. So those the type of things, I think they help some of us to grow and be very independent, you know.
So you don't give points for those gestures from Fraser?
Man, okay. Let me talk about gestures, but not phrase. Let me talk about gestures in general. Now, remember, as a conductor, you are responsible to direct the choir. So now, it is not your show. It is the choir's show. Now, let me ask you a simple question. When you conduct the whole opera of 3 hours, and you have very extreme gestures, will you last for 3 hours? You won't easily last. So that's question number one. Question number two: when people conduct, for example, operas, they are in the pit. Then the pit, so we can't even see you. So what does that mean? It means it shows your role. I'm not saying you're not important, you are important, but it shows your role. So it means you are responsible for the orchestra, but singers up there are the people that you need to direct. You direct the orchestra, you direct those people. So it means your role is just to to give clear directions, not to actually be Michael Jackson and want people to recognize you. I think that according to me, if it doesn't have any impact in what you want to get from the choir, then don't do it. Now, another point again, remember every gesture that you employ, it has got an impact on your choir. Like for example, if you so there is no way that choir will sing smooth if you have this type of gestures. Do you understand? So whatever gesture that you employ, it needs to have a meaning. And sometimes some conductors will just overdo it, And I know conductors on this one, even here, they will write and criticize me a lot, Yeah. So, but my advice is that don't do something that is not impactful to your choir, and don't over exaggerate something if at the end of the day what we are hearing there is still the same. Because if you remember, we listen to the choir and we look at you, but whatever that you do, we want to see if but if you say it's a hali, then what's the point? Then you become a
clown.
I'm glad I didn't say that, but it goes along those lines, But I respect conductors a lot, and our South African conductors are very talented, and they work very, very hard, So
Then we're doing Western, then orchestra fumbled somewhere.
Yes.
Then I will be given marks.
You'll be
according to the
yes, okay. Let me answer that one. Remember, accompaniment is part of
my choir.
Yeah, exactly. Your performance. Is it okay? Let me go back to this. I worked in Botswana last year at the national competition. I think. Yes. So I'm gonna mention this because it was very commendable. I think the choir that won the Tumi was playing, Tumi Ramon.
Tumi, yes.
He was playing for that choir. Yo. You're like, hey, that guy was at another level, Like, he helped the choir, like, very seriously. Like, I enjoyed him, Even the choir was good, but I enjoyed him so much that he blended so well with the choir. Like, he helped the choir. From the very beginning of the song, he helped the choir. So now, and the reason why I'm mentioning this, because towards the end of the competition, we had a debate with judges there. So we sat down and we debated, because it was very difficult for us to get 1 and 2.
Yes.
But once we reminded each other about that coordination between accompanist and this, then it made our job very easy to say, what, let's go for this one, Yes, because remember, once choir, we are not sure, we need to look at other things now and say, okay, what is it that we can use to, that was outstanding, yes. So fortunately that came and it resolved that type of thing. So at least it was easy for us. So even the orchestra, remember as a conductor, you practice, most competitions, they allow conductors to have a session with the orchestra first.
Yes.
So it means you need to utilize that platform to engage with them and make sure that everything goes well. But any accident, because remember, you are the one conducting. So any accident is going to impede your general performance.
Last one, we're going to Saske soon.
Okay.
Other schools, they already started their rehearsals. What advice can you give to the conductors, school kids also? I'm sure they are watching you. They know you. Those who are coming every year to the final.
The issue of Saskia is very close to my heart, reason being, there are teachers who work very hard, who are not as knowledgeable as we are music-wise, but they work very, very hard to try to make sure that their kids reach to certain levels, So now this is what I'm going to, and this goes to actually everyone, but let me direct to Saskia now. Conductors, you can't call Mr. Padi to come and help you and say, please come and help. You need to be specific. What type of help do you want?
Yes.
Because it happens everywhere. the conductor will call someone and say, please come and train my choir. Train how? Remember, we've got different type of trainings. How do you want me to train your choir? If you want someone who's going to help you with interpretation, help you, especially as a conductor, conducting because interpretation also goes with conducting technique. Because the manner in which you conduct, it contributes to the interpretation. You can't call me for that. I'm the specialist. I'm making an example. So I'm a vocal specialist. I'm making an example about myself, but I think people understand what I'm saying. So you can't call Mr. Padi for something like that. And again, you can't call a conductor who is not a vocal specialist to come and train your choir vocally. Now, there is something called vocal pedagogy. Vocal pedagogy, it deals with the science of the singing voice. You understand the anatomy and physiology of the voice. For example, I studied that. I did that for 4 years in class. So that's why obviously we talk about the voice. I know voice A to Z. Now it becomes very easy for me to train the voice because I know exactly, like where the voice comes from, like everything, like how do you produce a sound? I even know what can cause vocal deterioration. So, and I can also advise you to avoid things. Not only me, there are people who have done vocal pedagogy who can help your choirs, and there are conductors who can help you develop your choir after it has been trained by a vocal specialist. So now what people do, they call conductors who are not well equipped vocally to train their choirs, and so obviously the person will come, especially if you hear, okay, I don't know how to put this, but let me just go straight. Like Vaughan. Vaughan was conducted by Mr. Fraser. So someone might call Mr. Fraser to train the choir vocally because they wanted to sound like Vaughan. Not understanding that there is Tembela Vukwana. I'm making an example. There's Tembela Vukwana, who is a vocal specialist. Do you understand? So who contributed a lot for Vaughan to sound the way it sounds. But remember, people don't understand. They see the conductor in front and they assume that everything has been done by a conductor. And I'm not saying, obviously, Fraser is very good. He has got his strong points. Tembela has got his strong points. But together, when they work together, they came up with Vaughan. So I'm making an example with Vaughan because I know I've worked with Tembela Vukwana a lot. So the same thing happens with other choirs. But what I'm saying, do not look at the choir and say, okay, I like the sound of this choir, and assume that the conductor is the one responsible for that sound. You need to just do your homework, and check. So if you want to be assisted vocally, try to search around and see who are those people who specialize in vocal technique. Then after that, you might call the conductor to help you and the choir now with issues of interpretation, phrasing, and other things. So that's the advice that I can give to school teachers, because school teachers, they listen to choirs and they just assume that, okay, let me call Mr. Sbanban or Miss Sbanbane to come and help my choir, but not knowing that we specialize differently. Point number 2 again, with the issue of soloists, there are things called voice types, voice classification, and Fach. So Fach is a German term that is used to classify voices. For example, as a tenor, you can't sing all the tenor areas. You need to know, are you a lyric tenor, are you a dramatic tenor, are you a spinto? So those things, we call them Fach. Now obviously we can't expect school teachers to know about Fach, but what I'm asking you is that as you listen to recording first. As you listen to recording, 2 or 4 different recordings, so I think you will and now you'll have an idea of what type of a voice is needed for that piece. For example, you can't take someone with a very huge voice to sing Amezami Kesh. Do you understand that? That's aria, for example, it requires what you call a leggero tenor. And you can even hear, you don't have to go to school, but you can hear that, but my child can't, his voice is too dark for that. So don't punish kids and say, no, you can't sing that high, you can't sing. Do you understand? No. You need to understand that kids have got different facts, and they can sing this, they cannot sing this. So if someone sang this aria this year and won up until national, then next year comes a complete different aria. Then don't think that that person was lucky. No. It was their range last year, and this time is a different range.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I noticed that, especially Kusask,
Yes.
if someone won last year and this year I win, then everyone
You become surprised and say, these judges don't know what they're doing, And another thing on that, I once worked in one province, and as judges, again, I think we need to be given credit, because we do a lot of work. There's a time where we had one singer, she sang soprano and mezzo, and I don't know if that thing's not allowed, I think, but I don't know.
On same competition?
Yes. But let me not say it's not allowed, because I will be in trouble. So I don't know if it's allowed or not. But what happened is this person sang 2 pieces. And what we did, we said, no, because she got position 1 on both. She got position 1 on this other one, because it was like others were not good enough.
Yes.
Do you understand?
Yes,
so that's why she's very talented. Then we said, okay, she can't proceed with 2. Let's give her the one that is more in her fach.
Yes.
Then we took her to the soprano one. Then we said, no, the one who got position 2 mezzo, then we gave her position 1. The teacher was very angry, but we explained. I said, okay, if you want this to happen at national, I don't even, because I've never seen that in national. There's a possible disqualification that I don't know of. But beside that, this child cannot even compete well in the presence of mezzo sopranos, because now there were no mezzo sopranos here, hence she won both categories. So we also listen to that, especially when we adjudicate the solo category, because remember, you perform, and we also think about the future. We say, okay, let's think about the future. That's why when you adjudicate, you say, if the competition is ongoing, we say, okay, but this person can fix these mistakes. Let's let the person go. Do you understand? Unlike if the competition is a final competition, then unfortunately there won't be going forward. Yes. And again on that one, sorry, if someone has got, for example, some intonation problem, intonation can be fixed, because if you sing 2 or 3 notes wrong, I can stand there and call you and fix that on the spot and say, sing this again, and you sing it well. But if someone cannot reach certain notes, unfortunately you can't, there's nothing you can do. Even 5 years, in 5 years, you can't resolve that. So as an educator, obviously you need to be clever enough to check such things and say, this one had 2 intonation, 3 or 4 notes wrong, but this one cannot at all reach certain notes. So you need to check. If you take this one to proceed, then you are disadvantaged that province or that district, because you know exactly that this person is not going to do well wherever they are going. So those are things, amongst others, that help us to resolve if there are issues. I'm not saying our assessment is based entirely on that. No, there are other things. But when we have to decide, we look at these small things and say, this one sang 2 or 3 notes wrong, this one couldn't reach this note. And obviously some educators are vocal specialists and they can hear, but this is a misplacement of a fach. So whether we like it or not, this person will never sing such notes.
Mr. Molefe, your last words, just choral music, South Africa general.
Man, this was I think this was a informative information that Mr. Pali have released, and then for me as an audience, most of the time these days it becomes handy to sing, I from long ago, I had this concept that when I'm sitting in the competition and I manage to make a narration, I will get it correctly in terms of that. But that's very, and I think we are growing very well. And I saw TMF have balance to look as far wide in terms of adjudication, to look at the other people as to how they do things, which I think it's becoming more and fair to grow the music.
If maybe we need your services as accountant for our organization, how can we contact you?
Well, we are available on our website, info www.tukulogofin.co.za.
Okay.
And our office is based in Pretoria currently, 012-661
Yes.
9978.
Okay.
And as I say, we are on all our social media. We are available as Tukulogo County.
Yes.
So we are able to
Okay.
be reached.
Okay. Kiewiet, your last words.
Yeah.
That was like totally accounting.
Okay. My last words, choral lovers. I think this is going to be a good year for all of us. We need to try to create things for ourselves. And my conductors, we admire your hard work, because conductors work very hard. They use their money sometimes to transport people. Like there's a lot that conductors actually put to make sure that the choir succeeds. So conductors, we appreciate your efforts. We know what you go through to ensure that the choir presents decent music on stage. So please continue with that. But let's be creative and try to think outside competitions. That's the advice I'm giving. Let's try to have concerts, let's try to have other initiatives that can make our choir grow, Let's grow the profile for our choirs. Let's get our choirs registered, I like what my brother said, Mr. Molefe. He gave us a very good information about choir registration. So let's explore those possibilities and avenues to try to grow our choirs. And the school choirs, Saske, school teachers, we appreciate your work. Some of the kids, they come to study at universities through your hard work, So you must continue with that. And we will also understand some people come from farm schools, with no resources at all. But school teachers, they use their money, they use that to make sure that their kids get to the level where they can compete with learners or kids who are privileged, there's some other stories. Yes.
This is going to be a good year. Those are the words from Mr. Kiewiet. Buddy. One of the pastors said so, that this is going to be a good year, and there was a COVID.
I hope it's not that one.
Well, piano.
Yeah.
Sharp.